Morning. We continue with externalities. In the previous class, we talked about negative externality of production. Today, we want to talk about negative externality of consumption. So, why do we have negative externality of consumption? We have negative externality of consumption because there is overconsumption. Overconsumption. And overconsumption might be as a result of you consuming certain products which becomes harmful to the third party. You consuming certain product that becomes harmful to the third party. So the marginal social cost of consuming, the marginal social benefit of consumption is lower than the marginal private benefit of consumption. Get the point here? There's marginal social benefit which is lower than the marginal private benefit. It's different when it comes to production. Production is about cost. Consumption is about benefit. Do you get the difference I'm talking about here? When we talked about production, we're simply talking about the marginal private cost of production lesser than the marginal social cost of production. That is market failure. But when it comes to consumption, the marginal social benefit of consumption is lower than the marginal private benefit of consumption. And that is a market failure, which is as a result of overconsumption. Do we get it or not? Do we get it or not? In consumption is about benefits. So marginal private benefit and marginal social benefit is what we're talking about here. So if the marginal social benefit is lower than the marginal private benefit of consumption, there is a market failure. And this graph would allow us to know further. So before I go into the graph, I said, negative consumption externality occurs when the consumption of a product harms third parties who are not part of the purchase. Example given is second-hand smoking, traffic noise. The traffic noise, I'm not part of it. It's a decision you make, but it's affecting me. That is third party. So your consumption brings about hindrance or brings about uncomfort for me. That is negative externalities of consumption. So this situation leads to overconsumption, bringing about market failure. So there is a market failure because the marginal social benefit is lesser than the marginal private benefit of consumption. So these can be corrected because it's a market failure. You know, the topic is still about government intervention. So to correct negative externalities of consumption, government might use taxation or regulations to correct negative externalities of consumption. And this is the graph for that. But before I go into this, how does it come into place? How does negative externalities come into place? So look at the graph here. The production of goods is done, so we have our marginal private, our QX is the optimal social level of consumption. This is the optimal level of consumption at QS. This is the point we are supposed to consume. QS, PS is what we are supposed to consume, where our marginal social cost, our MSC equals to our MSD at this point. There's optimum level. But the market, the consumption in the market is happening at points at P1, Q1. Which simply means that our marginal social cost is at this point, and our marginal private benefit is greater than the marginal social benefit. So because the marginal social benefit is greater than the marginal social the marginal private benefit is greater than the marginal social benefit, it is negative externalities. You are enjoying more than those third party. So this is a potential welfare loss, overconsumption. At optimal level, we are supposed to be consuming at QSPX, but we are consuming at P1, Q1. I will finish now. Do we get it here? So this brings about negative externality. So to correct this, the government would impose taxation. And imposition of taxation means the supply can be shifted from S to X tax. So shifting from S to X tax increases the price from P1 to P2 and reduces the quantity from Q1 to Q0, which is allocating efficiency. So the result of overconsumption here can be corrected by imposition of taxation. So imposing tax here brings about increasing price, a shift in the supply curve. And the quantity supply for those who are over-consuming becomes zero. And that becomes allocative efficiency. And that is the graph we have. Do we get it here? There is overconsumption. To reduce overconsumption, we have to impose taxation. Imposition of taxation reduces the quantity supply, increases the price, and brings about allocative efficiency. Because the point is all about allocative efficiency. Allocative efficiency is about welfare gain, not welfare loss. But there's welfare loss here. Potential welfare loss, because the marginal private benefit is greater than the marginal social benefit. That's the welfare loss. And to put it back into it, for Q1 to QS, it has to be allocative efficiency, which is done by imposition of tax. From S to S tax, reduces the quantity supply, increases the price. Overconsumption reduces to optimal level at this point. Do we get it?